Morning and welcome to the American Tungsten and Antimony Investor webinar. Today we're joined by Managing Director Andre Booyzen and Chief Geologist Jonathan King. This session will focus on AT4's tungsten strategy, including the recent developments at its Dutch Mountain Tungsten Project and processing facility in Utah and the Tennessee Mountain and Nightingale Tungsten projects in Nevada. I'll now hand you over to Andre.
Thanks, Kristen. Thanks and welcome, everyone. Maybe just to kick off, I'm going to ask Jono just to give us a bit of an update on fraction node Dutch Mountain geology, and then I'll just give you guys an update on our tungsten strategy and a bit of an update on Antimony Canyon. Over to you, Jono.
Good one. Thanks, Andre. Well, I think everyone's quite aware that we acquired this project only recently, and that there's a number of things that are really interesting about it. It really is, Dutch Mountain is a brownfields project. It combines high-grade historical performance in a number of mines located on the property. And of course, we have our nearby fully permitted infrastructure in the Callao mill. And it really does position the company beautifully in that we have both historical resources, which obviously we're operating at grade, and we've got a fully permitted mill, and we just are moving very quickly towards bringing this back online. A quick reminder, the mill is currently rated at 400 tonnes per day, and it is can be expanded up to 850 tonnes per day. So that's quite a substantial sum, and obviously we're going to work towards that. As I mentioned, there's a number of mines, the fraction lode mine, the Stardust extension mine, the EBH lode, and there are in fact a number of other mines through that property and throughout the Clifton Hills district, which are tungsten plays, which are all at this point in time stranded because there isn't an operating plant nearby. We do have that plant, and obviously we want to focus on trying to bring as much of that feed into the mill as we possibly can. At the moment, fraction lode, when it was mined, was running at a 1.7% tungsten head grade, so tungsten trioxide. And the Stardust mine was higher still, at the EBH lode, which is only about 400 meters away from fraction lode, was running about 1.3. So we can see that across the camp, there seems to be these high grade plays or positions. I've been on the ground, I've had a look. Most of these positions are basically gopher style development in that the guys have gone in, the mineralization was daylighting, they've gone in on it, they've developed it as far as they could while the price was there to sustain mining. And then they've literally, when the price has collapsed, they've pulled out and moved away. You can see that these positions are mostly lining up on a sediment granitoid contact, and that contact persists right through the claim area, and at this point in time it's only developed where those mines exist. So there's a lot of remaining strike length along that contact, and we've got some geological developments which are happening because we're out there soil sampling, rock chipping, and geological mapping right now, which is suggesting that there is a major roof pendant, what appears to be a major roof pendant, and that contact is in fact quite circular around this roof pendant, and it's mineralized, and it is exposed, mineralization is exposed around the margins or in that contact position of this roof pendant. So that's an interesting development, and it certainly means there's a lot more scope out there. And obviously, as everyone would be aware, this is a district consolidation play. So we are also reviewing the entire district at this point in time and seeing where else we can go. I think that would probably do it for now. Don't you think, Andre? Or would you like me just to add a bit more about the reason why we really like this area? Actually, I will step into this. I have mentioned it before. The key thing about this area is that there are two ages of granite emplacement. There is a Jurassic period and there is an Eocene period. And both of these periods One is, of course, superimposed over the other. And what that is telling us is that this has been a long-lived plumbing system. So there have been fluids coming up from depth and pumping into these limestone units for hundreds of years, hundreds of millions of years. And that means if you've got a long-lived system, there is, of course, the potential to build big deposits. And again, this is part of the reason why we are there. So we believe that there is a lot more fruit to be delivered in the system. There are blind systems, there are the margins to roof pendants, and there are structurally controlled systems, as in vein systems, which are generally much higher grade. And then there are the classic skarn styles, which are the metasomatic margins in the contacts between the granites and the limestone units. And when viewed individually, you might find that the higher grade systems are generally smaller, but the skarn styles have potential to be huge. And if we can bring them together, then we've got a very substantial play on our hands potentially at Dutch Mountain. I'll leave it there. Thanks, Andre.
Thank you very much, John. Thanks for that update. Okay, guys, just maybe to carry on where Jono left off on Dutch Mountain. So as Jono mentioned, we've got guys on the ground at the moment doing some sampling and some geophysics work. So we hope to have those results out in the next sort of 6 weeks or so, maybe a bit longer, depending on the assay results from the samples. But as soon as we get those out, we'll have a much better picture of what's going on there and what we need to do next. So the mill, again, the mill is our priority on that site at Dutch Mill. As you know, it's a fully permitted mill on patented land, so we think we can get it refurbished pretty quickly. We've been on the ground. We're busy doing an audit on it at the moment. We've got a project manager allocated to do the work, and we think we can probably get it upgraded to about 850, maybe even 900 tons per day throughput, and we can do that within 6 months, we think, and at a estimated cost between $2 and $3 million. Again, that's estimates, and we'll have a better picture once we've completed the audit. And once we've refurbished it, the feed will come from the stockpiles in the area, and some of the surrounding little assets, little mines in the area. But eventually the feed will be coming from the fraction load and Stardust and probably Tennessee Mountain as well. So we're quite excited about the mill and getting it back up and running again. Maybe just an update on Tennessee Mountain. So as you know, we've submitted an NOI for a drill permit. We're still waiting for that application to be approved. At this stage, it's unknown how long that's going to take. And if you remember that we're actually going to be using the previous drill pads that were there, twinning the holes, and then obviously extending the exploration with new holes, and then working out a whole new drill plan for the area. So really just extend the drill plan program. We'll eventually fully define an MRE followed by PFS, and we hope to have that done probably by the year end, depending on the speed with which we get our initial permits. And then again, by the year end, we hope to do some small pilot mining to feed the mill, either by the end of the year or early in 2027. In terms of Nightingale is not a huge priority for us at the moment. We are still doing some work on it. We have completed sampling. Next we're doing is some geophysics works, probably some IP, and then we'll make a decision in terms of the next steps at Nightingale. But again, Nightingale is a very exciting deposit for us, and we don't want it leave it too long. Something else that we've developed as our strategy in terms of tungsten is we're looking at developing a tungsten refinery. So again, similar strategy to antimony, where we want to go downstream. So we're vertically integrated. So really for us, that's about regional consolidation. I mean, there's a few tungsten players in that area. We have our three large deposits. And what we eventually want to do is have a mill at every site, each of our sites, which Tennessee Mountain, Nightingale, and we already have a permitted mill at Dutch Mountain, and then those will feed concentrate to a central refinery. Now that central refinery can either be located at the Dutch Mountain private land, which we have quite a lot of acreage there, and it'll obviously make the permitting a lot easier being on private land. Or the other option is that the guys we're talking to at the moment is the guys at the Hawthorne Army Base up in northern Nevada, and they would be very interested in hosting a tungsten refinery at the arsenal. And we're open to partnerships. We've been speaking to a few people, and those discussions will continue. We're open to partnerships and cooperation with anyone who's really going to help us develop our tungsten assets. Maybe a quick update on ACP. So the drilling is going well, and just to remind everyone, the purpose of our stage 1 drilling at Little Emma is really just to understand the geology and the mineralization of what's happening there, to set us up for further drilling, not only on our patented claims, but on the unpatented claims as well. So we have received some assay results back yet. Unfortunately, the American assay labs are pretty busy and they're very, very slow at the moment. So we just got to be patient and wait. Even expedited ones take many, many weeks to come back. So like I said, we have received some. So just keep your eye out. We should have an announcement on the first few drill holes pretty shortly. So and that's exciting for us as well. We've also identified and in negotiations with a local landowner for a site for our concentrator plant at Antimony Canyon, which is also great for us. It's outside of the canyon on private land. That's advancing at the moment. And we're busy submitting the NOIs for the next stages of drilling on the patented and unpatented claims. And we're in discussions already with the state guys and the US Forest Service. We're at the moment just busy with the biological and archaeological studies, which unfortunately have been delayed slightly due to heavy snowfall over the last few weeks. Hard for the guys to get on the ground and identify flora and fauna, etc., when there's snow on the ground. Update on smelter. So we actually in our final stages of selecting a site for a smelter in southern Utah. It's actually quite exciting for us as well. Lots happening there. We're busy negotiating with the state and local developers, and we're talking to Metso. We have a proposal from them for our detailed engineering study. So again, we'll keep, as soon as we have a site selected, we'll get that out to the market and let the market know exactly where we're going and when. Also Nasdaq, we've just almost completed the audit to get our books in line with the American standards, and we're still aiming for a Q2 ADR listing. But again, it would depend on US government shutdowns, because it's got to go through the SEC, and being part of the government, they might be shut down for an extended period as well. Lastly, I probably just want to thank and welcome Senator David Hinkins from Utah. He's going to add great value to us as an advisor. I mean, he's got really great experience and knowledge of not just the Utah, but the US and that whole sort of Western area and the resource industry, a real wealth of knowledge and a very smart guy. So thanks, guys. Thanks for dialing in, and just keep an eye out for some exciting announcements coming up over the next few weeks. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Andre. Thanks, Jonathan, and especially given your very busy schedule. That's all we've got time for today. A recording of the webinar will be available on the company's website and will be sent out later today via email. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.